Happy Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, to what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily market update. I am back home, hopefully back home with a bang. We're going to be kicking the video off with what Joseph Shalom, who was, at the time when he said this, the head of digital asset strategies at BlackRock. We're going to be kicking things off with what he had to say a few months ago about this space as a whole and where we are and where it's going. And I want to start with this because I always impress or try to impress on you guys just how important it is to focus on that bigger picture. Not just from a technical point of view, so getting off of the smaller time frames and onto the larger ones and understanding markets move in this cyclical fashion and where we are within that cycle. And I'm not referring to the Bitcoin 4-year cycle here. Markets move in typically 4 phases. We do teach that. But also understanding this technology and the kind of journey that it's on and where it's at. That is going to help you mitigate day-to-day BS price action, certainly negative daily price action, which is very volatile and inherent here in the cryptocurrency space. So that's where we're going to be starting the video off because I think you all need to hear this. Then we're going to be going over some news that's been taking place over the past 24 hours. Hester Peirce commenting on the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit, or SEC versus Ripple lawsuit, and so is Paul Atkins, the SEC chair, and they also released a news report on this. Eric Trump has an announcement that we're going to talk about in regards to a world liberty finance strategy, and this isn't just world liberty, it's Ethereum, it's so on and so forth. I mean, this is all truly monumental, and we recently, or as a group, I have a Patreon, took a Ethereum strategy company. We sort of onboarded on it, and I think our average entry is in the sort of $30. It's now sort of 60 something. So very well in a small period of time. Do get on board with that, guys. We don't just look for opportunities inherently or natively in the crypto space, but also more broadly further afield. Talk about a little bit of price action. We're also going to go over Coin Shares Digital weekly report. So strap yourselves in, guys. If you're new around here, we drop one of these every single day, so do become a subscriber. Let's kick things off with what now former head of BlackRock's digital asset strategy had to say. But at the time of him doing this, he was very much representing BlackRock. Of course, Joseph has gone on to become the co-CEO of SharpLink, I think along with Joseph Lubin, which is another East strategy company that I don't own. I own the other one that has about $4 billion now of Ethereum under management. Let's dive into this.
Yeah, I'm a futurist and I'm an optimist. And I think this is the entry-level drug and the first test case for completely digitizing our ecosystems. Sandy told you that all our infrastructure has been built over decades and decades and decades, and it's creaky. We have a view that the internet went through phases. We believe blockchains are going through phases. I'm going to be a little bit excitable here. It's possible as we think about these chains that gaming and NFTs and meme coins are practice for massive adoption of not just financial services transactions, like billions and trillions of them, but usage in the real human economy. Like actually your day-to-day, you're interacting with payments in a digitally native manner. And maybe these first few phases are testing and challenging the chains to be able to handle the volumes that are coming. I'm not prophesizing what's going to happen and it's going to be hard. I think this is going to be more transformational on financial services in people's lives than the electronification of the equity markets, the electronification of the bond markets. Those took decades. This has an ability to massively accelerate transformation, and that's the beauty of the technology. Do I know if it's next year or 10 years? I don't know. But shame on all of us if we don't stop doing proof of concepts and experimentation. It is not innovation until it's put into production.
So that was the head. He's now he's gone on to an ETH strategy company of BlackRock's digital asset arm. Essentially saying the large part out loud. And if you look at where we are on that journey, and this is the prospect of being a crypto investor right now, as we're right at the start, this is more than financial for me. This is a obligation that I have taken upon myself to make sure that people understand what's coming, because it is going to directly impact your lives. You can choose to benefit from that transformational change or just sit on the sidelines and do nothing. The choice is yours, but you will all be using crypto whether you like it or not. And it's not all good, I'm here to say. I've got to be fair. It's not all good. Yeah, I'm going to make loads of money out of it, and hopefully so are you guys. But ultimately, this is leading towards a more global, one world system that is inevitable. Hester Peirce commenting on the SEC's case against Ripple. She said last week the SEC's case against Ripple was finally laid to rest. A welcome development for many reasons, including that minds once occupied with litigation now can concentrate on a clear regulatory framework for crypto. Paul Atkins, the leader of the SEC, says Commissioner Peirce is right. With the chapter closed, we now have opportunity to shift our energy from the courtroom to the policy drafting table. Our focus should be on building a clear regulatory framework that fosters innovation while protecting investors. Ripple's got the green light to essentially enable the Internet of Value that we're going to talk about. This came out on the 7th. So the case is, there's been that many, the case is overs. The case is officially over now, guys. And you need to be paying attention to XRP. I think it's kind of counterparty or some see it as a rival is actually going to outperform it. Do become a Patreon. You'll unlock my entire portfolio, guys. Eric Trump has an announcement. He says, here we go, alts. It's official. We're announcing a $1.5 billion offering to establish a transformational World Liberty Finance Treasury strategy. World Liberty Finance, Zach and Eric Trump are set to join our board directly alongside Zach Folkman as a board advisor. Read more. There are so many treasury companies. There are so many catalysts for why this bull market that we're currently in, and I believe is going to continue, is going to be unbelievably spectacular. Treasury companies are one major reason because they take supply off the table. In fact, if you look at MicroStrategy's impact on Bitcoin, it's actually made it deflationary. If you look at supply, that's going to happen more broadly with smaller market cap coins. I mean, you're talking, there's 30, 40 I know about that are doing it with Sui. You've got XRP, a few on Hedera, and now World Liberty Fi. And I highlight that not because I'm particularly interested in World Liberty Fi, if I'm being honest, more just because I'm interested in this kind of catalyst that is ultimately playing the overall space right now. Yesterday, unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to cover with you guys the Digital Asset Fund Flows weekly report. 401ks approved sparks $572 million in inflows led by Ethereum and Bitcoin rebounds. So Ethereum really the star of the show here. Let's quickly read the TDLR. After early week outflows of $1 billion on weak US payrolls data, so concerns really around the economy, inflows rebound to a $1.57 billion following the government's 401k crypto approvals, bringing net weekly inflows to $572 million. Ethereum ETBs led with $268 million in inflows, driving year-to-date inflows to a record $8.2 billion and pushing AUM to an all-time high of $37.6 billion, up 82% in 2025. So this is pretty monumental. I think for me, I always think, okay, well, what does this mean for other cryptos that are yet to even have ETPs or ETFs approved within the United States? It potentially signals a bright future. And there isn't that much supply. You know, if $32 billion was to be bought of, let's say, XRP or Solana or some of the others, there really isn't that much supply at all. And you've got this great supply demand. We're talking about ETFs here, let alone the treasury companies, let alone retail FOMO, let alone real world usage and utility. I mean, if you mess this up by not partaking, you know, we don't give financial advice here, but I'm going to say this very strongly. You are going to regret this opportunity probably for the rest of your life. I'm not saying bet the farm. I'm just saying get some exposure. Or the alternative is keep your money in depreciating fiat and continue to climb up that grease pole, not getting it very far, and continue to go around that hamster wheel and living in somebody else's imagination. Ethereum ETPs led $268 million in inflows, driving year-to-date inflows to a record $8.2 billion. I've just read that, guys. I do apologize. Bitcoin regains momentum with 260 million in inflows, while altcoins Solana, XRP, and NEAR posted 21 million, 18 million, and 10 million, retrospectively. And you can see it's basically just regurgitating a lot of that down there. So pretty good, all in all. It's nice to see Stellar on the table now. Very interesting, really playing catch up. Chainlink had some huge news that I still need to cover with you guys. Let's talk about price, and the plan is the same from a weekly point of view. You guys all know the plan. It's getting followed. There's no need to, if it's not broke, don't fix it. People complicate TA. They give you all these whistles and bells and indicators that never work and they never make money off. We're old school. We like looking at how markets move. We break it down into 4 phases on a big time frame. Then we look at traditional technical patterns to help us be right in the direction we think things are going. That doesn't mean that we're guaranteed to win. It just means we have an increased probability over the masses that don't look at charts at doing so. And we've proven that equation thus far. That's going to continue to happen. On the smaller time frames, we did look at bull flags. And we did say, despite people being very bearish, you had the tariff news, you had the weakening economy news. You said, no, actually, this probably is going to play out to be a bull flag. You're having a bit of a pullback at the moment. There is a CME gap that's taking you to 100 and... Oh, we're basically there, aren't we? Let's get this thing closed and continue. CME gaps often get closed. It's nonsensical, really, in the sense that you have gaps due to markets that don't open 24/7. So if Bitcoin can go down another sort of 40 basis points, it's closed, and then we're off to the races again. Stick to the plan. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it from me. We've got big announcements coming from the channel. Also, I'm going to do a little bit of blogging. Maybe I'll incorporate some trades and get those big headlines going in regards to some successful trades that we're currently on, and go and do some cool things. We want to sort of interact with the public a little bit more, not be one of these guys shoving cameras in people's faces, because I'm kind of somewhat against that, but certainly asking the masses what they think about crypto. Maybe capture some of that on film and go and show you some beautiful places in the meantime. Ladies and gents, that's it from me. I'm going to love and leave you all. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Stick to the plan. See you soon.